Last evening, an old friend and I were sitting out on the patio by the fire, talking about current events, things happening around the world, wondering if anyone could truly ever be completely prepared for what's coming. And my friend made a comment, and it stuck with me all night and into this morning. So in today's video, I would like to reveal this comment to you and tell you why I think it's so important. She said, communication is the ultimate form of cryptocurrency. It only holds value for the two people communicating, and there is absolutely no traceable record of the event having occurred, other than between the two people that had the conversation. A few days ago, I made a video talking about this, how it was the ultimate prep that most people don't think about. They stockpile food, they stockpile ballistic weapons and ammunition, water, medical equipment. But the people around them, do they really know them? Do they really know their value systems, what they would or would not do in any one given situation? Can they be counted on? This will be critical. And it truly is, if you think back, the ultimate form and the only real form of cryptocurrency. To give you an example, you look at a picture like this at a glance and you think you pretty much have it all understood. You see this medieval camp with a giant piece of meat roasting over a fire. You got some weapons from the medieval era leaning up against a tent. Looks like it's in the evening, looks like it's overcast. Well, what would be valued most in this image? Now, the creator of the image, of course, I think is pushing you to look at the meat roasting on the fire. But what if you stumbled across a camp like this? Your group did, and you weren't really hungry. You had made good provision for food, but it was freezing cold out. And for some reason, your ability to create a fire had been lost. The fire would be more important than the food. What if you had the ability to cook food? And fire hasn't been an issue. Warmth hasn't been an issue. But for some reason, your weapons have either been lost, or they have jammed, or they're broken. And here are these brand new weapons. You would probably gravitate more toward the weapons. What if none of that was an issue for you, but it had been a slow, soaking rain for the last 2 months and you've had no shelter? The first thing you'd probably want to do is go inside that tent. Get out of the weather. That would be the most important thing. You see, the people who put up the camp, if they saw you approaching, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know what your value system is. Are they coming for our weapons? Do they want our... What do they want? You see, it would take communication, the ultimate form of cryptocurrency, to determine this. Now, here's the next level. What if you had all of those things? You had the ability to provide shelter for yourself. You had plenty of weapons, food, and fire was not an issue. But what if you hadn't encountered another living soul, your group, for a few months? The camaraderie, the conversations, the interactions with a new group of people, that would be something you'd value greatly. Those of you out there who've been in the military, remember basic combat training? Remember when you just had that one group of guys for even just that couple of months? When you had that break in between training and you could go back out and you could talk with civilians and other people, how much you valued that? That communication? That's going to be key. See, while we look at stories like this, some people who are pro-cryptocurrency would say, well, you see, this is evidence of how much people value it. Bitcoin inactive supply nears record, as over 60% of Bitcoin stays unspent for at least 1 year. Now, those who have speculated in Bitcoin, meaning they bought it for the specific purpose of not using it in their daily life, but to increase their dollar value, for them, it'd be like, okay, well, that's great news, but what does that tell you? It's basically they're burying their talent. They're taking dollar currency, usable dollar currency, putting it into Bitcoin, and then leaving it there. And they're not using it to go to the store, their Bitcoin, to buy this or buy that or buy the other, or transact with other Bitcoin holders or other cryptocurrency holders. They're burying their talent. Matthew 25 in the Bible. On a bet that it might be worth more in the future. How is it a currency then? How is it a currency? See, this is the equivalent of having a ton of intel and trusting nobody. In the communications world, I have a whole bunch of intel, but I'm going to keep it all to myself, and I'm never going to tell anybody about it because it's only valuable to me. Cryptocurrency expert says the U.S. should watch what Canadian government is doing to protesters. No one is safe. You see, they want that store of value, so to speak, store of value, repatriated to where it came from. See, all of that cryptocurrency value was at one time denominated in other actual currency values. People used rubles to buy crypto. People used dollars. People used yen, rupees. And all that's been sucked out of the world economy. They want it back. Canadian police tell exchanges to halt Bitcoin and Ethereum trades tied to trucker blockades. It's a piece of cake for them. World's largest cryptocurrency exchange is under investigation. There are people out there saying that crypto's the future, crypto's the future. They're insane. Kraken CEO warns users, get your coins out of centralized exchanges. Basically what he's saying is, dig a deeper hole. Dig a deeper hole, meaning take your stuff out of the exchanges, where allegedly it was safe 5 years ago, and put it in your wallets and never touch it or never transact it ever again, and hope for the future. How that is not a loss, I don't know what is now. This is why having your mind arranged like a castle, is critical to understanding all of this. Up here, at the highest point, this is where all of the value is. This is where all of the value should remain. Your ability to communicate. And those you let closest to you should have to go through some type of a guard gate after having gone through another guard gate to even be out here. Now, all these images I've shown over the last month that has basically pissed everybody off. This transaction, this is of course Claire Danes playing the character Carrie Matheson in the series Homeland. She's a CIA agent attempting to get information from this guy because he knows things about a terrorist network. And she ends up in a relationship with the guy for that express purpose. Now, what's the exchange of value? It's crypto, meaning she has a value for it and he has a value for it. What he gets from her is only valuable to him, and vice versa. Even over time, that's the case. Same thing in The Walking Dead. Those of you who've watched this series. The Andrea and the governor relationship. He's in a negotiation with the leader of her group. It goes south, so she decides to make another negotiation. A negotiation where the exchange of value is only between these two. They're the only two people that value it. They're the only two people that have a record of it. It's cryptocurrency. It is the ultimate form of cryptocurrency. It's why I use this image too, from Colony. And it doesn't matter who's in charge of the resistance group and who's coming to whom. There's one person in this that has the leverage and one that doesn't. And it's the opposite of what the series makes you believe. But either way, it's crypto. It's cryptocurrency. It's not about the event. It's about the leverage. And what is leverage when you have leverage over people? It's something that only goes on between you and that person. Same thing happens in the same series. This woman, trying to keep her son alive, enters into a relationship with a guy for that express purpose. She has one value in her mind, he has another value in his, and it's only valuable to those two people. Just like two crypto wallets. In the case of black sales, this character goes from nothing, working in a brothel, to become extremely wealthy. It's not about the gold that she earned, which would have been valuable to everybody. It's about the information that she gleans and her ability to use it. Had nothing to do with the gold or the black pearls or anything like that. It was about information. We use this over at the Patreon channel. It's a video from Sammy Kershaw. He's doing a remake of a song called Third Rate Romance. And this girl takes advantage of this guy, and while he's got his back turned, takes his whole roll of cash and jets with a waiting car outside, leading him to believe there would be another transaction going on. So that's what this is all about. The training at Patreon. Getting a hold of your mind and understanding that the ultimate form of currency exchange will not happen in things that you can see in your hand. It won't be the beans, it won't be the bullets, it won't be the band-aids, it won't be the ammunition, it won't be anything like that. It'll be about your ability to assess people and understand people and communicate with people. $1 a month is all I ask, and if it could be less, I would ask less. Patreon itself sent me an email saying that we really recommend people charge $3 at a minimum. I said no. I said, what's the actual minimum? This is the actual minimum. Love to have you over there. Because this is what it's really about, getting a hold of your emotions, re-engaging the brain, so to speak, and understanding how, when, and where, and with whom to communicate, because that's going to be critical. And I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.